Fury FC slash WXC welterweight champion. That's a mouthful, but Anthony Ivy, what's going on, man?
Same my same, brother. Just trying to stay busy with this whole coronavirus stuff going around, man.
Yeah, what's your day-to-day like right now? Are you going to work and training and doing the regular life stuff?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm still. We're still me and my wife. We're still consistently working. We're trying to get as much training in as we possibly can. Usually we get in about 2 to 3 hours, but it's like about an hour or so because it's in the garage and stuff, man. So we're trying our best because we both work over there at the Haven for Hope. So
Mhm.
we still have to be included with the clients because they need the safety as well and everything. So yeah, it's our day-to-day life. It's almost the same like it was regularly before the whole coronavirus hit. So
Yeah, isn't it kind of weird how they give you all these guidelines and protocol for the pandemic, but really it doesn't really matter in many ways, right?
Right. Teddy, yes, man, it's crazy because all these protocols with the mask and
Mhm.
the social distancing and everything else. It's crazy because with the whole coronavirus thing, you're more likely to catch the flu than you are the coronavirus. So why they're not putting the same protocols with the flu virus when it's out than with the coronavirus? It's a everyday thing. And with the whole hygiene thing, people are supposed
Mhm.
to stay consistent with that anyways. You're supposed to take showers every day. You're supposed to clean after yourself every day. And now everybody goes like, oh, I gotta do Lysol this and Lysol that. So it's just see, it's crazy because you're supposed to be doing it anyway, but now they want to do it. So hopefully it stays that way. Everybody stays clean, stay healthy, stay consistent with it. And never get rid of it. So we have to go through this shit again.
Yeah. I would think you yourself, fighters, they would have the strongest immune systems because when you train, you're exposed to so many people and their
Yes,
bacterias and you got to fight all that
yes,
stuff off and staph infections
every
and
single day.
ringworm. Yeah, it's so much going on. So I would think like if you are allowed to train, you should be able to train, man, because you already been through all of that.
No, yes, through everything, and that's what I think is a lot with a lot of fires and things was really frustrating because it's like, man, it's if we're gonna catch it, we've already had it already, but or not, and here we are still healthy. I don't think it's like maybe I think what one guy in the UFC that actually caught the coronavirus. I mean, that's really good compared to thousands of fighters actually consistently doing it. Besides out of the UFC, around the UFC that's you haven't heard of who caught it and everything. So especially with them closing the events and everything because of it, it's like, oh my God, it's frustrating. So, but hey, we got to do what we got to do.
Well, your wife is also a fighter. She also trains. You mentioned her earlier. How
Yes.
how beneficial is that to have someone like that in the house and being able to understand everything you go through as a fighter?
It's it's really good, man. She keeps me on my toes uh on a very consistent basis, man. Especially when I kind of like dig myself in the hole. She's the one that always comes and digs me out. Tells me everything's okay. You know, the doubts, the weight cuts. I mean everything. She's always been right there. I mean, she's been with me before was anything right now. Before I was a champion or anything else like that, she always had my back. Even since from my loss, she was right there. It was that day was my second loss actually was very depressing, but what I'm saying? She sticks there with me and she trains just as hard as I do. She's in there for every minute that I'm there, she's there right there. Even with our daughter, we even kind of include her in there with us. So it's like it's very helpful, man. It's a blessing to have some support system like that because I know a lot of fighters don't. A lot of fighters have their wives. They train, they do their little workouts, but actually have a wife that's actually sitting there and she knows the experience to get in there and everything else. So she knows the suffering and everything else. So it makes everything a lot easier, especially when you have those little tempers and like the weight cut and you're just mad at the world. She understands. She backs away. Sometimes she backs away, but it's there. So it's really good. It's a blessing, man. It's a very good blessing.
Now I want to rewind back to your amateur days. It was filled with finishes. Talk about the
Yes.
time from when you first started training to the point where you first stepped into the cage as an amateur.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right, all right. So when I started training, before I even thought about this whole MMA career and everything, I didn't know nothing about MMA. nothing, bro. I didn't know it even existed. To me, it was something new. It was a whole different world. The only reason why I knew about it is because of my twin brother, Dimitri Ivy. He was already in it for about 3 to 4 years, and then he introduced me to it, right? So we going through this little training thing. The reason why I got into it because I was doing my Kuksu one. It's a traditional background that I've been doing for 3 to 4 years, and he introduced me to MMA, and I started training for it. The main reason why I got into it because of the jiu-jitsu part. I knew somewhat form striking, but I need to know. For something in my head, I knew I needed to know the ground because like, oh well, what if I could take it down or whatever it is? I need to know at least I had to get off my back. So that's why I started jiu-jitsu. And then he introduced me to, hey, we actually do this fighting. It was so funny because I sat there and I told him, I was like, hey, like, is this shit legal? You can actually go out there and fight? It's like some like an underground type stuff, like backyard crap. And he's like, no, bro, it's legal. You sign papers, all this other stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I was very scared of it, bro. So during the whole time, my very first amateur fight, it was 6 months in. Like I was a white belt, didn't know nothing about punching, nothing like that, bro. So it was 6 months training. I knew I had to fight 3 months in, so the camp was at least about 6 weeks, no, 6 to 8 weeks. And then the butterflies effect, the scaredness of what's gonna happen, the lights and everything else. I know it's not as big as like you get into the UFC, but I mean for amateurs just starting it feels like you're doing that. So you're walking in there, you have this big butterfly effect, and props to the guy. I'm real cool with him too. His name is Justin Adams. I'm really, really cool with him right now, man. We trying to get the click up and train together and everything right now. But man, bro, that fight was probably the toughest fight I ever had, even today for my career, man. Because it was like he had this rear naked choke on me in the very first round, and it was just heart that I had to get out of it. Ever since then, man, we was just working through all. It was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I got the win with I think like about 10 seconds left in the TKO in the third round. Bro, that was one of the probably hardest amateur fights I ever had. Everything else from there it was because I was just improving so much. It was just I was either outclassing a guy or I just outworked him. So, but man, my very first amateur fight, man, it was hard. It was hard, scary, and I think everybody should go through that. Everybody should at least step in there just and see how that feels, man, because probably one of the most spiritual things that you can ever do is get in contact with somebody like that and just test your heart and see if you're gonna do that fly or run thing. So it's pretty good, bro. It's pretty good.
The butterflies. When did you realize you can embrace it or get used to it? Or are you still not used to it?
Let's see. So the butterfly effect, you are never gonna get. You get used to it, yes, but what happens is you learn how to accept it because it's always going to happen. And the butterfly effect happens closer to before you touch hands, right? So I guess through my fighting career, it's so like I'll have the butterfly effect like right at the weigh-ins, right? And then after a while, it starts getting closer and closer and closer because you just start learning how to, just start accepting it more. So it's all still there, but it's a lesser time period than it is just like, oh, I weigh in, I know I'm finna fight, and you're just like stressed out all the way to the fight. Like you don't stress out about it. You just accept the fact that either you're gonna win or you're gonna lose. That's it. This is what you train for. So, yeah, man.
It always trips me out when I hear GSP talk about it. Even though he's one of the greatest of all time, he still is scared before every fight,
Yes.
and
Yes.
he embraces it and goes out there and performs. It blows my mind that he's able to do that. And some fighters,
Yes.
they don't have
Still
it.
to today.
They can go out there with nothing. They have no feelings and they just go and fight. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
always like to
Yes.
ask every fighter that question because I always get a different answer every single time.
It's crazy,
Your
right?
team, yeah, it is. Your team, Brazilian top team. Have you been with them since the beginning?
No, sir. So, let's see, how can I make this short as possible? So, I
Mhm.
started training at a gym called Texas Powerhouse, and so yeah, we started training at a gym called Texas Powerhouse, and that transformed into a school called what was it, Battle Texas Academy. So, from Texas Powerhouse to Battle Academy, I was probably training with them for about I can say about 3 to 4 years maybe. And then after that, we had a little breakup. So we break up and everybody kind of went their own ways. Some people went to UC gym, some people went to Ohana, and then some people came, stayed with us, and then we went to Brazilian top team. So I've been there for about I think about 3 years now. So I've been consistent with them, but ever since I started joining them, my whole fight game changed so much because there are so many top level guys there that people don't even know about. They are there. I mean, from the striking, from the wrestling, and from the jits, you have it all, man. From the strength and conditioning, it's so much there that people don't know about. But that's what's so surprising because then we go out there, the whole entire team, we go out there and we outwork these guys and we wonder why. It's like we have it here, man. So
So that's almost the time where you started this run that you're on right now. Around
yes, sir.
2018 to this point, spectacular run to say the least. What has been the driving force? Of course, probably Brazilian top team, but what else is there that you feel like is helping you, continue this rampage in a way?
Man, is I could say the most thing that keeps closest to my heart is my daughter and my wife. It's there. It's just that one thing. It's just trying to see if I can always be more and having them to always be proud of me. And like I've said I had an interview with my management team. It's one of those things that it's just, now I want to be a legend. I want to, at the end of this thing, whether if I make it far or if I don't make it far, I want to have a name behind this. I want to have a name when everybody hears Ivy, it connects to the MMA, no matter what. So that's that drive to be the number one or the best person I can be or the best possible fighter I can be is what's driving me to be anything. It's hard to grow it, and it takes a while to grow it because you have your doubts. Everybody has their doubts, man, but it's just one of those things that I overgrew it and I continue just to grind. So it's my family and just me becoming a legend, just let everybody know the Ivy name. It's something that I really really want. So whether it's anywhere, anything that I do, I try to do it at my best. Every second and every minute counts for me.
There's one opponent that I noticed on your record that you fought twice, Jason Wrangler. Talk about that backstory because I know there's a deep story right there.
Yes, there is, man. So, Mr. Jason, back in I can't remember 2016, 15, whatever year it was, right? I didn't even know anything about the guy, man. I didn't know where he was training at or anything else like that, right? So he's a Houston boy. When we first met, it was of course at the weigh-ins, and we faced off, right? And we literally bumped heads, and he had this fucking aggression, like he was just like forward in my head and all this other stuff. I'm like, fuck is wrong with this guy, man? But this is the way I grew up, man. You never like treat you with disrespect like that. So it was we just arguing back and forth, just talking mess to each other, blah blah blah. F this and F that and F you and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, I got you. He's like, all right, we'll see. It was like for a good minute. So we talking all this mess. They had to split us up. We ended up splitting up, and then I fought him. When we was both striking, we both standing off, we was doing our thing, back and forth, whatever, right? He threw a kick because we already knew that's his thing. He always starts off with a head kick. Everything. We knew that. So he started with the head kick, I ducked under the head kick and I grabbed him. As soon as I grabbed him, now note my wrestling wasn't that good because we wasn't working this as much, right? So I grabbed him and I pushed him against the cage. So when I pushed him against the cage, noticing that he's so much longer than me, that when he went for a throw, he ended up throwing me, he outstretched me, and I rolled over. And when I rolled over, I blew my shoulder. But I didn't know anything about it because I was trying to get up. As you see in the video, I was attempting to get up because his jiu-jitsu is not good. It's not good at all. So I was trying to sweep him, and as best as I could, and I couldn't get it because I couldn't get off my shoulder. So that's when I knew something was wrong, and then he threw a darts on me. And we knew he loves these darts. That's his most of his finish, even after me. Most of his finish was with the darts because he has his long arms, right? So he ended up finishing me with the darts. It's not because he was choking me. It's because the pain from my shoulder went all the way up to the back of my head. So it was so excruciating, man. I had no choice but to tap, man. So I ended up tapping, fine. You got the win. But the thing that pissed me off is because the dude wasn't respectful. Like, okay, man, good job. It's all over with. Just respect it. He was still talking mess after the fight, walking around the cage saying about this, but and I never talked about this, but then in that situation, it was just like I had no respect for the guy. Dog. Like, shake hands, call it a day, don't sit there and talk mess. Even if after that, he's still talking that mess, right? So through the years, I was like, one day I want to get back at him. Right? So it was probably 2 fights right before I fought him again. One of my close teammates. Now, he wasn't a teammate. He was just training one, so he's one of the students at the old school. said on the post like, "Hey, y'all gotta run this back because it was a post from when we fought we fought in Bellator. It popped up again on the Facebook feed, and he's like, "Hey, y'all gotta run this back. Y'all gotta run this back." And I was like, "Yeah, eventually." And then so that it was there. A month later, he posts on there, and he's sitting there calling me a pussy. Like, yeah, let's run it back, pussy. What you want to do? You want to run it back? All this like that. It's like, oh, here we go. So me, I'm gonna be humble. I'm not gonna message back. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just take myself off of this comment, so I won't see the continued posting of anybody posting anything back, right? And my wife was checking me about it because I wanted to say something. I wanted to say something so bad, but I was like, no, wait, no, babe, let's not do this. Okay, fine. Took myself off of there, and here it is. So the manager Eric for Fury ended up messaging me saying that, hey, let's, I got the opponent, let's run it back with Jason. You already beat Washington, so let's go ahead and fight Jason. All right, cool. Send the contract out. He denied it and sent his boy Aaron Reeves to fight me. All right, man. You know what? Whatever. So they're playing with Aaron Reeves is supposed to beat me because he's so much a better fighter than me, right? He's supposed to beat me, and Aaron takes the belt, vacant it, and then Aaron's supposed to fight for the 55 belt while Jason fight for another opponent with the 170. Man, I wasn't having that. Like, no, you're not just gonna up and take my belt. I worked hard for this, dude. No, we're not gonna do this. So what I did is I smoked Aaron, knocked him out in the second round, and then I went across the ring because I freaking dreamed this. Walked across the ring and I was talking mess to him. That was the perfect time. If I was gonna do it, I was gonna do it right then and there. And I let him know, you're next. Ain't no more running. You're next. And he was talking this big hype. Oh, well, yeah, we'll see. I said, that's why you sent your boy. And look what happened to your boy. It's gonna same thing's gonna happen to you. So all this hype and all this mess was talking. So I'm pretty sure he trained hard. Give props to Jason, man. I'm pretty sure he trained hard for it. Aaron trained hard for me. Everything else is like that. I finally fight Jason, and it's the same thing. He tried to do that same crap when we was at the weigh-ins when he tried to bump heads to me. But this time it was me not being humble and everything else. Like, no, we're finna work. And this is why I knew he was scared of me, because of the fact that when he pushed me, I just dropped the belt because he thought I was fighting for the belt. Like, no, man, I'm after you. I want you. You're the top guy. I want to smoke you because I'm gonna take your spot right now, bro. This is what's it. You took my chance, and we're done. So we got there, weigh-ins. Eric ended up broken it off. We all split up. We all, went out by the way. Here comes the fight. We fought. Everybody knows what happens after that, man. It's see who's trained harder, see who knows more. And it was the same thing, bro. I broke that man's will. And I don't care what anybody says, man, I broke his will. That was my point. I was going to let him know that, dude, I am here for a reason, and I am trying to be a legend here, dog. And if I have to get through you in order to get to where I got to get to, then fine. And this is LFA's boy. He went on a rampage. He was going undefeated with LFA. I thought he was going to go for the LFA belt. He's supposed to be next up to the UFC. He's supposed to be fighting for the Contender Series. All this good things about Jason. It's like, okay, I'm going to show him who's the guy that they're supposed to be looking at, and that's what happened right there. And then even all this mess and all this depression that he put me through and everything else from off that, right? Even after that, I still went on that man's hand. I still told him he's doing a good job, man. I said, man, there's no beef here, dog. This is all business. But don't talk mess. Just don't do it, man. This is one of the things that Khabib said. This is the hurt game. This is not the shit talk. It's the hurt game. And this is what happens, bro. So, that's all it is, dude. But that's the whole little glimpse of it, So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I look at that experience as something that you can look back at when you're in the UFC or the bigger promotions, and the fights get bigger, and you face another guy.
Yes.
That is similar to that, because there's a lot of guys that are out there talking.
Yes.
So and it's part of the game. And there's guys like you that are not into the talking, and that's part of the game too. But this will prepare you for that, right? Do you see that as something that's gonna make you ready for those?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I'm gonna still continue to be the same way. I'm just gonna let that shit talk get to my head and mess up my performance in order to prepare for the fight. Because if that's part of your game to do the shit talk, then fine. Do the crap talking, man. I'm not gonna sit there and drill. I'm not gonna talk mess. I'm gonna let the hard work see what we're gonna do from there. So we're just gonna continue to do it and run it from there.
Well, after that fight, you moved over to WXC and faced off for the welterweight title, your second belt, last September. You were pushed to the fourth round, the championship rounds. And all your other fights never went past the second round. So how did it feel getting into those later rounds?
Nothing. it just felt like you was in there a little bit longer than usual because I'm so used to always like you said, finishing in the earlier rounds and everything else. So it was just nothing more, just a little frustrating because I couldn't finish as fast as I normally do. So I had to work harder. I mean, the dude, the Willie Black, he's a freaking monster. Yeah, I was expecting to go all 5 rounds with him, or somebody was to get finished, either way, man. But that dude, he was tough as nails. I was giving him everything that I could possibly think of, man, from the submission attempts, failed submission attempts, from the stand up, from the wrestling and everything else. I mean, he even took me down. That's rare. I don't think everybody actually sat back and actually took me down. And he did it twice on me. It was like, oh, it's a fight. It's gonna be a fight. So, to be humble, man. That dude is he's nothing to mess with, man. He's a very talented human being, man. So
You're carrying
yes.
2 belts, 2 different promotions. Is there anything else for you to prove on the regional scene? Would you like to defend the belts?
Let's see. I wouldn't mind defending them, but it has to be a point. If I'm defending it just because somebody's trying to come up, there's no point for me fighting them because I'm trying to get here. So I'm not going to help these guys just to come up because I'm waiting for something, If I'm defending the belt, it's because it's going to get me to the UFC. It's going to get me to Bellator. It's going to get me to whatever big promotion it's going to be. That's the point that's the point of fights that I want to take. I'm already ranked #1 here in Texas. So who else do I have to fight that's not coming up, that's above me? Okay, I got to fight over here and fight the #1 guy in Detroit. This was going to be the chance to get me to where I got to get to, and I'm still waiting, But I think it's because the whole COVID-19 that's been going on is what kind of slowed everything down. But I'm getting help. I'm getting I'm getting more focus onto me to get me to where I got to get to. So hopefully everything does great in order for me just to prove myself, whether I win or lose. When I get there in that position, I just want to see where I'm at. That's the whole key why I'm doing this. I want to see where I'm at right now. I'm gonna see where I'm at today. That's the reason why I went to go fight Willis Black, because he was this big name and he's supposed to go there. He's training at these high level gyms and everything else. So I was like, okay, well, let me see where I'm at. Let's try it out. So that's it, man.
You're a highly talented prospect. A lot of media outlets are talking about you as one of the next guys, to be going to the bigger promotions, and of course there's the Contender Series going on. Do you feel like that opportunity is great and all, but man, I should be signed like direct? Like I should be like I proved myself. Like I'm ready for the big show right now. Is that the mentality you have?
That's one of the main mentalities I have. But like I say, man, I'm a very patient man, and I don't want to be one of those guys that rush into these bigger promotions and I can't prove myself. I want to get there when the time is right. If I have to go through the Contender Series in order to go prove myself, then fine, let it be. If I get signed straight into the UFC, then fine, let it be. I got to do whatever I got to do. So, yeah, man, I just always got to stay humble with everything.
We just got to wait for the pandemic or whatever,
be over, right?
to get it over with, and we'll see you back in that cage and performing, and I'm ready to see, what you got, and hopefully it's in the UFC, man, or Bellator,
whatever
or
else. Yes, sir.